Welcome to the ITSM Practice Podcast.
Welcome to the ITSM Practice Podcast. I'm Luigi Ferri. Today we are talking about two sides of the same coin. Why IT security fails without service management. Featuring my talk in Madrid during ITSM Day, organized by Pablo Grueso, Chief Executive Officer of Techno4, with Atlassian and PeopleCert. Let's listen to the first part of my talk. Cheers.
Así que con todos vosotros, Luigi Ferri.
Good afternoon.
The stage is
Thank
yours.
you. So, it's a pleasure for me to be here, and today we will discuss why IT security fails without service management. In several organizations, there are different views about service management and how service management and IT security are talking. Before starting to warm up, a poll between us quickly. Raise your hand if a simple glitch in IT turned a full-blown security issue in your organization. So it happened to me. And also, raise your hand if your change requests in your company sometimes are skipping the security reviews before being processed. And the last one, and we start with the presentation. Raise your hand if IT and security are reporting to different people. I'm a project manager, so I work in an organization that's providing security managed services. I'm an IT master, and since 2017, I share knowledge. I share knowledge on LinkedIn and in a podcast. Today, I'm discussing with you my experiences as a person on the field that every day is implementing service management, ITIL, in connection with the financial services. This is one of my cases when I was a consultant. A fintech startup cannot get a European banking license due to poor IT security maturity. What was the problem? The problem was lack of IT security, and this was very feasible in change management. All departments, in case of a glitch, or in case of not passing the financial authority audit, were complaining to each other. In this specific case, everyone was blaming the other department. The question was very evident because IT service management that was connected to the IT department had a plan. Security had another plan. They were managing the same, let's call now high-level incident, with the two different clothes. And this was creating a lot of issues, not only when we were managing change management, incident management, or the CMDB, but also every time we want to understand what is our exposure to risk, what is the status of our patching. And these two words were not talking. Why they were not talking? They were not talking because the organization was structured in two different realities. We had people working on service management and people working on security. They were not having the same definition. So if we watch on the left side, service management is a set of capabilities. The goal is to give stable operations. And the pillars are incident, change, and asset management. There are also other pillars, but these are the first three that I want to discuss with you. Security has the goal of defending, using the CIA triad, confidentiality, integrity, availability of information assets. But the information assets are sitting inside systems that are managed by IT. So how we can have confidentiality, integrity, and availability if we don't have a service management? It's a service management creating the conditions for having the CIA triad working. Now, this is another example. We have a patch. The patch must be applied inside one of our data centers, but we don't have a CMDB. So we don't know exactly where is the machine. Yes, we have Kubernetes, we have JSON, we have GitLab, but only few people are able to investigate in this forest of tools and understand where is the machine that we want to patch. And in this case, the issue, the breach, was not depending by IT security tools. Was depending from the fact that there was an absence of IT service management. And here I will give you an example. We have two typical activities of service management and typical activities of IT security. The incident management is feeding the threat response. So we cannot have inside our organization an incident that at some point is managed by two different groups that are not talking between them. If we introduce change, we need a gate from a security point of view. How many times we receive a patch or we receive like last year for me was a shocking Microsoft, the number of patches delivered in 1 year, and you have to read all the documentation, try to understand, yes, I have to patch the server, but patching the server will create another vulnerability with a correlated system, and what is the status of my configurations when a patch is applied? And another topic that is very important, where personally I found very challenging in organization, is the lack of CMDB or asset management. Asset management is the basic, so a system where we have all our VMs, all our configurations, that we want to evolve to CMDB, where we can see relations. And when we are managing our operations, security operations or service operations, we are able to understand what are the correlations. When we want to plan a change, we know that this change is affecting not only one system, but multiple systems, and what is the affected business process. If we understand the scenario and we work in an organized way, considering security part of service management, we can achieve an agile and resilient IT environment. I give you an example. Every morning I go to the office and I see what are my incidents. I have a different type of incident. I have the finance department that cannot access the ERP. And this is a service incident. But on the other side, I notice several logins from unknown IP. So we cannot work this, okay, this is a security, I don't care. This is a service management, I care. We need to have an integration. Only one workflow inside our platform, only one process, and the teams are working together, defining and responding to incidents based on the scenario, not based on the nitty-gritty detail. Because it happens that people will tell, I don't own this, it's not my problem, but you have strange and suspicious login attempts to investigate. And also, if we work together when we have the typical operations like what we were calling in the old ITLV3, the service operations package of processes that today are practices. If we work all together, we are able to understand the flow of information, and you can rely on a team that is capable of running IT security, IT operations together. So the question that I put under every slide is for myself and for everyone who has, because we can try to understand. For example, what is the status of your security incident management teams and programs today? They use different tools. The SOC as a tool, and the service operation is having another tool. How you exchange information from a department to another department using different tools? Copy and paste, this is very complex. When you have different teams spread in different countries and you have to serve the customer, it's very complicated to manage this type of operations. What to do? This is a typical example compliant to the majority of organizations that are working under a European banking license. They have to fulfill service incident. And these are the typical stage of a service incident. But you have to manage also security incident. And these are the typical stage of a security incident. This is a challenge because if you don't have a joint response plan when you have to manage events, and you don't have a shared communication model, you will have service operations working in a silos and IT security working in silos, and you don't have a unified response to threat. Today, an hacker knows that trying to attack your organization multiple times, at some point they will find a breach. Last year, 44% of 0 days were related to enterprise software. This is not my opinion. I read on HelpNet Security. So if we have a joint response plan, we have predefined approach models, let's call incident models in this case, or could be problem models, where every time we identify a potential threat to the organization, we approach using a standardized approach. We avoid situations like, who owns this? Oh, this is not my department, it's your department. No, we have a supplier that needs to take care of this. This means that we have the same rules. If today we think about two well-known frameworks, ITIL, ISO 27001. ITIL is giving you a vision. ISO 27001 is giving you another vision. These frameworks are flexible. You have to build your own vision that is fitting how you share, how you classify, how you identify impact, how you mapping the potential impact in your organization. You use two frameworks and you build what is the rule that works for your organization. And also you define only two types of escalations. You can have hierarchical escalation, you can have a functional escalation when there are specific conditions. For example, the number of transactions that are failing in an e-commerce site, or you have a specific amount of potential infected VMs in your data center. In the other side, shared communication is important because when it's finishing an event, you have to analyze the timeline, you have to analyze what happened, and to build an image of this security event or service management event, and to move forward applying what are long-term resolutions. This means that you can analyze the full chronology using one tool, you can analyze the incident using one timeline, and you can create the problem record, or you can create a root cause analysis using the same set of information. You can find also the weak spot, because when you are reading the incident through the life cycle, you can understand which team was requiring time and resources to manage it. So, this is a big question, because in a lot of our organizations, also in my organization, security and service management are two different words, with the two different directors. And the problem is also here. If we don't have service management and IT security sharing the same metrics and the same goals, we have a problem. If I ask to the IT department, speed. If I ask to DevOps, speed. And I want stability from the IT security department. And the number is 80% in IT and 20% in IT security, it's very challenging to have an environment that goes with the speed of the market and keeps the information security. We can standardize, starting to approach with a very simple definition, a simple definition of metrics that are shared between service management and IT security. Preventing vulnerabilities. If we have hidden risks, we are not able to fix the potential risks. So we have to investigate, and we have to prevent the changes in production using change management. In a lot of startups where I worked, we were not using change management. Oh, there is an issue, I go there and I fix it. Oh, there is an issue, I go there and I fix it. And what happens? Happens that after X months, you don't have any control over your environment. And every time you try to assess the risk of installing a patch or making a change, you don't know what are all the potential correlations. And this is a problem. So what is one solution? It's one solution that we can have, we can bring at home is to understand if in our change management, that must be mandatory, we have security reviews, because it's the place where we avoid that the change leads to multiple incidents or that the change is creating potential risks. This is an example that is based on the German Financial Authority. This is the typical fintech change management that is required. The requester is submitting the ticket, is starting the process. Inside the process that is in flow, we have assessment and planning, we have an approval, we have implementation, we have review and closure, and after here is happening, okay, now we have to inform security. And this is totally missing. Security is not having a visibility of this, because it's not considered a part of service management. My suggestion is that IT security is part of service management. So inside when it is submitted the ticket, security is running an initial screening. Security, during assessment and planning, is also running a security impact evaluation. What is the short-term and long-term impact of this change inside our organization? when there is the approval, security is a part of the change advisory board, and they confirm that this change can be executed. There are no risks, there are no issues, there are no projects that will be affected. During the implementation, we need to create inside our organization. If for you it's interesting, the NIST website of the US government has guidelines how to create secure deployment practices for security installations. And we can have a standardized approach. This is avoiding that if we have John, Jack, and John, everyone is applying a change to the same system in a quarter using a different way. We strive for automation, and if we cannot apply automation, the NIST website, documentation is free. You can check there. There are guidelines that are teaching you how to standardize secure deployment. And in the review and closure, we have the post-change security validation. I give you an example. A system is critical. It's an ATM. We apply patch in all ATMs, but we need to scan also the ATM with our scanner to understand if after the patch installation there are potential threats. This can be done during this stage. This is just to give you a clear example of how security and service management are talking every day.